Welcome back to the John, your daily sports dump. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest take in the sports industry. So while you're taking care of business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and today we'll be talking about teams that I think are going under the radar heading into March Madness. And finally, another team that I think is going under the radar in March Madness, specifically a mid-major team. The first team will be a Power 4 conference team, and the second will be a mid-major team. Then finally, since there's not much going on in the sports world, I thought I would give you guys another one of my hot takes on what sports video game I think is the best game of all time. But first, we have to talk about what team I think can, be a bracket buster, especially for Power 4 teams. You guys know I'm an Illinois fan, but I'm not gonna let that, I think Illinois will be a scary team to play in March. They are the best. I have some stats to back it up before you guys get all mad at me. They're the best rebounding team in the country. They just out rebounded Michigan, who has let me rephrase, 2 7-footers, guys, 2 7-footers, 43-32, and that's with probably our second best rebounder out with a broken wrist. So just to put that in perspective, they also rank 22nd in net, have the seventh hardest schedule with wins over Oregon, Wisconsin, Missouri, and now Michigan, obviously. And after beating Michigan by 20 points, Illinois is just the fourth team in the AP poll history since 1950 with multiple 20-point ranked road wins in a season. Oregon and then Michigan, obviously. The only other teams to do that, 1997 Kentucky, 2004 Pitt, and 2007 UNC. Now, guys, the reason why Illinois is sort of going under the radar with all of, the sports media, college sports media, is they've been very injured. They've been very hurt. Tomislav Ivisic had mono, sprained his ankle, then got the flu, then hurt his ankle again, and now he's finally starting to play healthy, and we're starting to see that. He just had a 20-point game against Iowa, and he just played really well against Michigan. They obviously have Yakin Jonas, but this team is a lot more talented than just these two Euro stars with Tomislav Ivisic and Kasper Yakin Jonas. They also have, I think their X factor is Kylan Boswell. He's that sort of experienced player that Illinois needs. He's a third-year player. He played at Arizona. He was a great player there, and he's been better here. He hasn't shot great, but he's a great defender. I think he leads the team with steals. He's averaging 1.2 steals per game. Could be wrong, but I know he's averaging over 1 steal a game. He's a great defender. He's a great energy guy too. You see him after making those layups. He was making a bunch of and ones yesterday, yelling and bringing energy. So he's their X factor for me. I also think another one that their big X factor, and they're playing well without him right now, is Morez Johnson. What he does for them on that offensive glass alone, he gives them so many more possessions. So I think you guys need to be on the lookout for them because they're a scary team. Beating Oregon by 30 in Eugene is not an easy thing to do. They also beat Missouri and they beat Wisconsin earlier in the year, and they just beat Michigan at Michigan in Ann Arbor. So I think that you guys need to really look out for Illinois because if they get out of this 8 seed right now that they're projected to be in, they could be a scary team coming down in March because they're one of those, that 7-10 game, they could be scary. They could bust some brackets and go far if they're healthy. Um, and the mid-major team that I think is probably up there or with Drake in the same sort of level is High Point University. They're 26-5. Their offense ranks 26th in the country. And their sort of X factor, I think, is Jocelyn Bodobo, who is, 7 foot, I think 240. He's a beast on the blocks. He leads them in rebounds. He also is a defensive menace, averaging over 2 blocks or almost 2 blocks a game. And another crazy stat that I found out when I was looking up this stuff, he has 100+ career blocks as a sophomore, which is insane. And people always say defense wins you championships, and it's not just something it's not like a cliche thing that people say. It's true. Defense wins championships, and also they have a very deep scoring. Two of their top scorers are all juniors or seniors. and it's 14 and 14, 13. It's a very spread out. It's not one of these teams that has that sort of X factor who's giving them 30 a game. They're a very well spread continuity sort of group. They work well together. And also their top three scores, two of them came from Texas Tech, and I think Mississippi State. So these are Power 4, Power 5 conference players, guys that decide to come down to the mid-major level and are tearing it up right now. And another big thing that, we see with all these mid-major teams is 75% of this team is from last year. It's not, the big thing in college, the college basketball world especially, or just college in general, sports. The teams, it's new and new. That's the thing with Illinois. Illinois is basically a new team. This team, on the other hand, 75% of the team from last year has returned. That means they know how to work together, know how to play together. Bodobo was there last year. So the big thing is that they know how to work together. The big thing I think that will also keep them motivated and win the Big South is this would be their first chance to get a bid in the NCAA tournament in program history. So they're chasing history, and I think that this is the year they can do it. So let me know what you guys think. If you think High Point or if I missed a mid-major team that you guys want me to cover in my next episode, let me know in the comments down below. Now, finally, the kind of fun topic today. What game, what sports video game I think is the best? Now, when I was thinking of video games to pick, I really had two. Three, I'll say. It was NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, and College Football 25. Now, I'll break it down in each one. NBA Jam, I don't know about you guys, but my brother and I played NBA Jam on the iPad when we were little, and it was very, my dad would destroy us in it, but it was a fun game and it felt very video game-esque, not realistic. When people say video game numbers, I think of NBA Jam. NBA Jam is unrealistic, but it's so unrealistic that it's fun. Um, and then NFL Blitz is the same thing. Very unrealistic. Some of the hits I still play it to this day, but it's some of the hits are crazy. And then I think the reason why college football was in there, one, it was an amazing game. It was greatly developed. I don't know why EA couldn't do that with NFL Madden, but that's topic for another day. But another thing is it's became the best-selling sports video game of all time, and it's made $1.4 billion in revenue. So I felt like I had to put that in um, because of how much money they made off of this game. So obviously, it's a good game if they're making $1 billion off of it. But my kind of issue with it is I think that they need to make a NCAA basketball game too, as well. I think that will kind of put it over the sort of next level. But NBA Jam for me takes it. One, I mean, you can play the iPad game or you can play the arcade game. I play both. But NBA Jam is just nostalgia. It's, I think, the most fun. NBA Highway or High Top, sorry, NBA High Top is the way to go. I think just the nostalgia factor of it, the, excitement you get from it. Me and my brother beat my dad constantly in it, so it's easy for us. My brother and I are we're pretty good. My dad knows, we beat him pretty bad every time we play him. So it's, not only are we really good at it, and it's really easy for us to beat my dad in it. It's also fun. My dad doesn't like playing all of our new PlayStation games, so it's a lot easier for us to kind of bond over NBA Jam. So that's why I think NBA Jam is the best video game ever, personally. But if you guys disagree with that, let me know some other video games in the comments down below that you think I missed out on, or specific like NBA 2K, whatever. If you guys think I missed out on anything, let me know in the comments down below. But that's all I had for today on this week's episode of the John Your Daily Sports Dump. To recap, we covered why I think Illinois could be a potential bracket buster, and then finally why I think the High Point Panthers are another team to kind of look out for. And then my best video game of all time, sports video game of all time. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning into today's episode of The John, Your Daily Sports Dump, where we talked about why I think Illinois could be a mid-major dark horse and why High Point Panthers could be a bracket buster. Finally, what sports video game I think is the best video game of all time. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. And if you're looking for even more sports talk, check out the Sports Syllabus Show, where my partner and I discuss the hottest topics in sports and college sports world. It's a two-ply discussion, strong, reliable, and always ready to clean up the messiest takes in the sports. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump, where we'll be downloading a brown load of sports stats. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular. This is The John, signing off.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.